Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As above, so below. We're talking about Venus energy. Yes, I got on some of the same clothes from yesterday. I had I had a lot of work to do with Shango. I want to say to each and every one of you guys, especially to my Madrina, salutation to my Madrina, to my Oba, and to my Padrino, and all of my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Kumi, Congo, Palo, and Mystic and Ajays. To each and every one of you guys, to my air signs, my earth signs, to my water signs, and to all of you that practice the ATRs, to all of you that utilize energy, frequency, and vibration. What's up, Q Point? Or Q Pint? I think that's it. I don't have my glasses on. But I want to say to each and every one of you guys, if this is your first time in my live, I am the apostle and pastor of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated, and my beliefs are deeply rooted in. Oh, what's up, Mr. Roy? My beliefs are deeply rooted in the ATRs. Those are the African traditional religions which we harness, disperse, and work with energy, frequency, and vibration for manifestation. I wanted to come on here today and to share some things with you guys, especially if you want to learn what real magic is, what real spirituality. What's up, Mama Susan? I have been doing magic since 4 years old. I'm 52 years of age. I am initiated in various of the dark arts. I want to say this to my melanated brothers and sisters that view me and that we interact together for melanin. I want to talk about something that is very real. And when I teach universal laws, I don't teach my personal practice, but I teach universal laws because they apply to each and every one. Whether you are atheist, whether you are a practitioner of the left side or the right side, whether you deal in light or deal in dark. Energy is energy. Frequency is frequency. Vibration is vibration. And so therefore, anybody come on my channel has the ability or the capability of learning. Now, I'm going to preface this. I'm a Sagittarius, Moon in Aries, rising sign Pisces. What that means to anybody that listen to me, I'm a seeker of truth. And I try to give knowledge, wisdom, understanding where grown people, individuals. Now, I was thinking about this before I came on, and it just like hit my mind. Because I don't have on my Orisha hat, does that mean I'm not a Orisha priest? If I don't adorn myself as a traditional voodoo practitioner, Haitian voodoo in particular, if I don't wear a suit, am I not a pastor? If I don't have on my lekes and I have on crystals, would that prevent me from manifesting through my orishas? Or because I don't have on a scarf, am I not a Palo priest? The reason I brought all these things up is because people identify with labels. And what I was saying in this subtopic on this Friday, Venus energy, Venusian energy, like I like to say, restoring your image has nothing to do with outside perception. Let me say that again. At being a melanated man in the United States of America, our image has been distorted, misrepresented, a plethora of things. I want to focus on why should you put the energy, the resources, the currency behind restoring your image. The reason why a lot of us have to overcome so much is because the image that has been projected upon us when it comes to our ATR practices. And what I try to encourage people to do is know themselves. What I personally mean by knowing yourself is knowing your energy, your frequency, your vibration. This is why it's important to know that you're a Cancer. This is why it's important to know whether you're a Libra or a Taurus. Your energy is everything. If you melanated, you harness energy very proficient than somebody that is non-melanated. And the reason why that is important, because there's things that our ancestors did in time past that represented certain energies. And when you don't recognize those energies or those frequency and those vibration consciously, you may be drawn to them subconsciously. And those images are a reflection of our power, our intelligence, or the things that we practice and operate through. So when it comes down to people trying to understand ATRs without understanding the history or understanding the bloodline of people that practice these traditions, the reason why we are effective is because they have to do with our energy. Now, whether you consider certain practices closed or not, the reason why other people that access our sacred grounds, the temples, the shrines, the pyramids, if you don't have the melanin, if you don't have the bloodline, then you can't access the energy behind the symbol. I'm gonna say that again. I don't care how much non-melanated people to choose to rob our graves and our images, our culture. Only melanated can tap into melanin, which means the universe, which means the Mother Earth. Melanin allows, it's a consciousness, and allows us, if we develop it, and that's why we have these traditional sciences by which we embark in. They help develop the melanin that we have on as natural. And so therefore, when you want to restore your image, I'm gonna say this, if you're spending more time trying to change somebody's perception, it's a waste of time. When somebody declares themselves better than me, greater than me, I'm telling you about Chief Apostle Eli. They the one got to stand by that testimony. All I'm going to do is allow my melanin to shine. The image and the likeness of God that I have, I allow that God particle to manifest. When you spend time trying to debate people about facts, we're in the age of Aquarius. Facts matter. They always matter, but more so now than ever. And so therefore, I am not going to argue or debate biology. I'm not going to argue and debate science. And therefore, I understand energy, frequency, and vibration. The reason why melanated people need to take out time to understand their image, and I'm not talking about your physical adornment. I'm talking about your image, what you were designed in the image of. We were designed in the image and the likeness of the universe. I'm going to say that again. Because we are a microcosm of the universe, that means our imagery, our likeness is of the universe. Some of us use term stardust. I like to use the term melanin, because it simplifies the understanding of something complex, and it allows us to understand that whatever is without is also within. This is why Yahshua said the kingdom of God is within you. So what melanin people normally coming out of church influence, they feel like they're all powerful, when the truth of the matter is we all have a measure. We all have a measure of melanin. We also are in need of development. You can practice hoodoo or certain traditions and never develop your mind. There's things that in certain traditions allow us to develop psychically, or our mental energy. Then there's other sciences that we practice that develop our light body, or our etheric body, or our emotional body. And all of these aspects is for us to evolve. When you're practicing a tradition and you're still like Christians or any other practice, and you're going without to receive help, love, peace, prosperity, whatever, when the waters in your life are in turmoil in the inside, then you're only going to project or receive that turmoil or that type of energy or spirit. Take out the time before you try to become something of a title, and understand why it is important for you as an individual to understand your image. And therefore, in your image, you're going to understand your purpose. And when you understand your purpose, you're going to be able to navigate in life outside of a tradition. And once you understand that, you're going to be more effective, whether it's hoodoo, voodoo, Christianity. I'm not a type of person I necessarily care what your religious beliefs are. I care more about a person that's melanated, understanding that you can't just believe in yourself in the mindset of, I know things are possible. You have to believe in yourself because of what you were constructed. I'm going to say that again. The fact that I understand and know resoundingly that I am made in the image and the likeness of the universe allows me to walk in confidence in anything I do, to understand that I have a destiny, and when I say destiny, a design for my existence in this particular timeline, because I understand that energy cannot be destroyed. Then I already know nobody can tell me I'm going to heaven or hell, because I'm already eternal. I'm going to say it again. If I understand that I'm already eternal, then I understand that energetically my decisions matter. My decisions matter more than me lighting a candle, burning incense, wearing crystals, because I am the grand design. Somebody say, hearing you loud and clear. I am the grand design in this particular timeline as a Sagittarius. Trying to get validation for what you don't believe on the inside of you is a waste of time. I don't care how much you love me. I don't care how much you have faith in me. I cannot give you peace when you don't know who you are. You know who you become since you got here, but you don't know who you are. And therefore, you don't understand what strengthens you or what weakens you. And this has nothing to do with ATRs or the traditions that we operate from. Um, when you want to restore means something was one way and it needs to go back to the original design. I'm going to say that again. Running to symbols or sigils when you don't understand your design and who manufactured you, who constructed you. And so therefore, when melanated people are called not human, I'm going to say it again. When melanated people are called not human, or 2/3 of a human, or 1/3 of a human, they wouldn't get offended. Because we're gods and goddesses having a human experience. If you are melanated and you carry melanin, you are part of a family of spirits. And you're no longer getting upset with people that see you supersede. That's why they say no fair. Somebody said, well, why would you need a 500 year head start on somebody? You would need that if they melanated, if they are divine. When the more you challenge them, the more they rise to the occasion. The more you try to prohibit them, the more they figure it out. We can only, the melanated people are the only people that have surpassed our suffrage. We're the only people that is in the history that have suffered the greatest, but have risen through those ashes like the phoenix. It looks, Chief, you look so good and healthy. Live a lot. Thank you, Monique. My Fetty Foon. Oshun. I'm rocking this. This I had on this yesterday, but I was working Shango. So when I approach any ATR or any religious order, whether it's Mason or Eastern Star, I'm always going to approach in my understanding of my grand design and what I'm offering in this particular lifetime that is needful and also beneficial and reciprocal. And what people are trying to do is they're trying to put on a label or a title to justify their energy. That's why I said, if I don't wear the adornment of a Orisha priest, am I not a Orisha priest? If I don't wear the adornment of a Christian pastor, am I not still a pastor? When I have my whole clothes on, am I still anointed? Even Saul disguised himself. Ahab disguised himself, but you still a king. So if I change my garment, is that going to change your perception? But if you are a discerner of energy, frequency, and vibration, it wouldn't matter whether I sit at the front of the church or in the very back of the church. You're going to pick up on my energy, frequency, and vibration. This is why you can't run from you. Giving yourself an opportunity to understand that which is within you. And I was talking to Mother Susan this morning. I'm a Sagittarius. If you're a Gemini, if you're a Sagittarius, you look down on people. I'm not going to get offended. I say what people don't understand when I don't what people misconstrue with me or Sagittarius. I put you in your place because I would never not give somebody credit because that would make me jealous, and I'm not jealous of nobody. The problem is when people go out their way to undermine you, it's because they envy what you have. And it's not the things that you have acquired. It is the understanding that you have the potential and the capabilities of creating whatever reality you want to. That's why at this point, I don't change my attire. I was talking to Minister Mario, son of a Chusi, one day, and I said, I done did that. I done dressed like that. I don't care if you like it, buy it. I'm not a hater because I'm transitional. And I don't have to be what you perceive me to be in order to be who I am. And a lot of times people want to wear certain things to make people look at them a certain type of way. Or we get things, drive things, and we feel less than or more than depending on what we have acquired. Actually understanding your value. When I say know your value, or you hear people saying your value is within yourself. I was giving her the example. I can have whole tendencies. I can be whorish and yet get in a relationship and be faithful and loyal. Because that whorish tendency is my choice, whether I indulge or don't indulge. And I have the capacity as a grown man to regulate my behavior or my desire or my appetite. When you are out of control on the inside, then it's easier for things to get out of control on the outside. Most people come around me because I have a strong layer of confidence, and they're trying to have that confidence without knowing themselves. When you know yourself, a person can make a truthful analysis of you and it be a negative analysis, and you accept that. Because I not only accept the fact that on the light side of Sagittarius, what I bring to the table, I also accept the duality of Sagittarius, the dark side. You can't not, yes, I know I can take fire and warm something, but I also understand I can take fire and destroy something. You got to take both of those analyses, whether you operated them or not. But you have the capacity either way. Whether I'm, and let me tell you, share another thing I want to share with melanated people. Depending on whether you utilize your higher mind or your lower mind, is what you operate in, and that's a choice. Your higher self and your lower self. This is always and will always be about energy, frequency, and vibration. It will always be about what? Energy, frequency, and vibration. Once you comprehend that, your life and your reality will become the things that you want. This is why right now when people don't know who they are, they choose the friends they choose, and they call people an enemy that is really not an enemy. I'm going to explain this. The only reason why that is your friend is because you don't know yourself. The moment you understand who you are in this thing called life, that person will no longer be your friend. The person you think is your enemy, once you know who you are, that person becomes your friend. Everywhere you go, there's a reflection of your higher self and a reflection of your lower self. When people are not ready to mature, I offend them. When they are mature, I'm a blessing to them. I'm the same person. It depends on what aspects of who you are operating at that point is what you find desirable. A lot of times when people see me, they make it about me, and it's not about me. It's really about them and where they are in their life. And this is why I tell you, you make the ATRs look bad, because when you don't know who you are, you can't maximize your potential. You can't bring the past the things that are designed for you to have, because you keep operating in your lower self. Nobody controls that. And whichever aspect that you're choosing to operate in, that's what you're going to attract. That's the magnetism. You the one. I'm going to give you Mother Susan 69. I'm 52. We have different mindsets. We are on the same polarity because I'm a Sagittarius, she a Gemini. We're on the same line. But one believes he gonna be sexy to the day he die. No matter what version of myself I become, whether God let me live 10, 15, 4 more days, whatever. Each version of my higher self still produces through my melanin. And that's whether I'm utilizing Orishas, Loas, and Kisi, and Pungo, Conjure, spoken word, telepathy, whether I'm utilizing my heart chakra to magnetize the things I desire. I have a true understanding of self. So therefore, when people come in and try to tell me, come to Jesus, because I understand the frequency of that name and where they're coming from, I'm able to reject it. When you understand yourself, you will know what to reject or what to accept. So let me say this. As a whole, there's hoes in my city, but they ain't my type of hoes. So sometimes you got to go out your jurisdiction to get your type. A lot of people settle for income, relationships, environments, because that's what's around them. I'm going to say that again. You can get what God got for you, a divine mother or father got for you, if you understand who you are. And if I don't want saltwater fish, I don't go to the ocean. If I want black fish, I go to where the saltwater and the freshwater are mixing. If I want freshwater fish, I go to a lake. I go to a pond. I can get what I want, but I got to know where to go. Magic is the same thing. You can get what you want, but what if I have certain shoes I like, and sometimes they got to come out from another country. When I have certain spells that I have to do, so Mario was ordering from China, he was ordering from Russia, he was ordering from Indonesia. I was getting stuff all from around the world, but I needed that energy, that frequency. My bracelet, real tiger. So therefore, I can summon that energy. I can call that energy. I can have that energy around me. When you settle for your environment, that's your business. You grown man or grown woman. But settling just means you too lazy to go further. Could you please talk about what the light body is and how to develop it? I could, but then there would be no purpose for me to have classes on my website. Let me explain this to you guys. Arabic, speaking Arabic is light energy. When I do, because I work with the 72 names of God, Hebrew. Hebrew is fire magic. Languages carry certain vibration and certain energy. And when you don't understand that light comes from darkness, or not light comes from melanin, then you obviously don't really want to learn. Because a lot of times, just like movies, we want to start at our favorite part, or we want to start at parts of spirituality that we're comfortable with. But in order to really learn something, if you watch how a plant grows, then you know what kind of soil they need, what type of fertilization it needs. Because Mother Susan didn't understand that saber trees gonna survive in the most driest of areas, and they know how to retain water. It has to be water every day, not even every week. This is the same concept that is true when you don't understand what it takes for you to be. So I am the darkness and also the illuminator. Exactly. At the same time. You're the creator and the destroyer at the same time. Duality. Duality on the earth realm must exist. So that's why we hear people saying, just as nice I can be, it's just as nasty I can be. The same person that can be helpful can be harmful. So whatever it is that you, we like to use the term, putting your best foot forward, you can be the very opposite of that as well. The very opposite. Because everything has duality. And that, once again, that's a part of restoring your image. I don't have to be liked by everybody to be prosperous. You know, even in presidential election here in the United States, you don't need everybody to vote to become president. Your approval rating can be high and it's not a 100. Nobody gets 100. If most melanated people believed in half the stuff they say, they'll tell you quick, ain't nobody perfect, but they yet looking for perfection. I want you to really say, don't pass over what I'm saying. If you honestly believe there's no perfect person, then you wouldn't be seeking for a perfect man or woman to be in a relationship with. You would go into that with maturity, understanding not only you gonna disappoint them, but they're gonna disappoint you. Because they can't be all you need them to be. But y'all are good partners. Y'all have agreed to walk together in this thing called life. And that's the maturity that everybody, I can't say because I love you, I'm not going to hurt you. Because I love you, I'm not going to disappoint you. Because that would be irrational. Because I'm not all-knowing. I'm still growing and elevating. So in order to do better by you, I got to know better. And right now, I'm not in that place to know better. I don't have that knowledge. And then once I get that knowledge, I got to perfect that knowledge before I'm able to utilize it. That's why we, as melanated people, don't give people time. If I went and told the average person whether they like mangoes, and they saw that mango was green, I couldn't convince the average person to pull that mango off that tree because it ain't ripe. It's not ready to be consumed. Ebasa. It's not. They can obviously see that mango is still in development, and it's not the time to partake in that mango. But we will go around and know that certain people are not mature or they're not ripe. And they, because of our insecurities, because of things that are going on within us, we will pull people from the family tree that we obviously know that not right. And they're not ready for consumption. And we will blame their unripened state, their undeveloped state, as a reason why we're hurting. Magic is the same way. Spirituality is the same way. Restoration of our image, our rationale, our sober-minded thinking, the wisdom that are been here from millions and millions of years. And this is why we left footprints to remind us of ourselves. Everybody else is trying to teach us to come out of ourselves and look at their image. What my job is to do is to shine enough light that melanated people will start looking into themselves. And therefore we will see the glory of hoodoo, the voodoo, Santeria, Lukumi, Congo, Palo, all of these ATRs, because we will operate in our authentic energy. People will not be able to shake you because they're not your source. The whole premise of a sorcerer or a sorceress is you your own source. So therefore the kingdom of God is within me. Then how can you create hunger for me when I can create substance and nurturement myself? I want y'all to understand why we are so intelligent and that we need to walk in that intelligence. It is up to you, sir and ma'am. Whatever you do with your life, it's starting to rain. It ain't no wrong with being a little wet. Getting a little wet. Spirituality is intelligence. It's not tomfoolery. And you shouldn't spend your time trying to argue with somebody that does not know who they are. Whatever title you have, you got to stand by that. Mama Goddess, how you doing, sweetie? Whatever you decide as a man or woman to function in your spirituality, you need to learn how to navigate in the solar system. Just like every planet has its orbit, every person on this earth has his or her lane. The problem is, what would happen to our solar system if people came out of their orbit or planets came out of their orbit? The same thing happens when we come out of our lane. When we are not operating in the energy signature of our ancestors. We're trying to do what everybody else is doing. Apostle Eda, we're in the age of Aquarius. That's why individuality is going to matter. Individuality does not mean you're not part of the family tree. You're not a part of the consciousness. Individuality is meaning I understand my role and my role to play in this life. And I'm going to maximize that. And hope that somebody else see my reflection and choose to do that with their melanin. And then we all benefit as a collective. When you're in a herd when you in a coven, the animal kingdom constantly shows us that everybody is not a hunter, but everybody eats. There are certain animals that stay back and tend to the children. There are certain animals that stay back and tend to their territory. So when you go out and hunt, you got a home to come back to, because somebody there making sure ain't nobody trying to take our living quarters. When you understand that and I understand, I'm gonna say like, I'm gonna start with myself. When I understand that helping and developing you also develops me, this is when the scripture says iron sharpen iron, melanin sharpen melanin. Then what happens at that point? Envy and jealousy dissipates. We don't understand the concept that we are already united on the etheric level. So the conflict that we have on earth is because we have those conflicts within ourselves. And so therefore we magnetize those events in our life that keep speaking to what is going on the inside of us. This is why I believe in mental health. This is why I believe in counseling. I tell people all the time, I do spiritual work. I'm not your counselor. I know my lane. I offer many people in my church to go see a psychiatrist, because you need to figure out why you think the way you think. I'm here to help you get the information so you can renew your mind. But if your mind is off kilter, there's a chemical imbalance. How can my truth help you when your perception is off? When your equilibrium is off, it's not your shoes. Every woman knows about equilibrium. When your balance is off, it's not the sneakers, it's not the heels, you off. And therefore, no matter how many shoes you got, it ain't gonna help balance you out. You got to get your energy back. Psychics are not therapists. They're not. They're psychically connecting with the mindset you have and the thoughts you have and the interactions of the energy you have created, whether it is in this life or life. That's why I tell people, you got to know what form of divination you need, what type of person, because if it's like when you don't know what type of doctor you need. I see so many people out here losing everything they got trying to get their health, when it's simply because they're deficient in something. I'm not a medical. This is for educational purpose. I ain't no medical doctor. I'm telling you what I have experienced for myself and what I have experienced with my clients. Because we on TikTok, you know how sensitive everybody is. You can only tell so much truth on TikTok. I tell people all the time, I can tell more truth in the whole house, the gambling house, the outhouse, than I can do in the church house. It is what it is. But I want to encourage some of you to take out the time to understand who you are rather than what you want to become. Who you would like to be versus what you made of. And no amount of greatness causes me to, number one, not give people credit for what they do. No amount of greatness in my life causes me to try to sidetrack somebody else's greatness. A lot of reasons why we think we need certain things is because we're void into certain things. The lack of support melanated people have here on this earth plane has a lot to do with their perception of scarcity. Their experiences have led them to believe that somebody can take something from them. When you honestly believe what God has for you is for you, then I can bypass the first 300, 400, or 500, because I believe that a cattle on 1,000 hills belong to God. I really believe that gold and silver belongs to the divine. I really believe that if God opened a door, no man can shut it. See, when you're not anchored in your thought process, then people or circumstances can shake you. You can want whatever for me. Negative. It is not going to come to pass in my life, because I already understand the reality I want to live. Somebody can want better in your life, but if you don't want it, because there's a very different thing than you saying you want something, the idea of that thing, than you actually wanting that thing, because anything you truly want, you will maintain. And that takes work, people. And most people are not willing to put in the work. They want the benefit. And if people be honest, a lot of the reason why you're in the ATRs, because you want the benefit of the ATRs, what they can yield. You're not willing to put in the work to be put into the reality of earning that. Because what I was taught, respect is not given, is earned. And when you earn something, you don't argue about it. I remember my mom telling me and my sister, I did my job. I parented. I was a mother. And I found so much satisfaction in that statement. So as a spiritual man, when I have done my job, your response is irrelevant. Whether you praise me or down me, it's irrelevant, because I know I did my role in your life. When you have not did your job, then you can always be shaken. And you'll always find yourself trying to convince somebody how you feel and how you believe. And you're always trying to look for excuses of why you didn't come up to par. That's why I asked my congregation, what more can I do? They are, oh, Apostle, you don't need to do anything. You already done enough. So you're admitting that you the problem. As long as we got to understand it. That's why you shouldn't blame me, because how I move with you, because I don't like wasting my energy, my frequency, or my vibration. And you have a right to waste all the energy you want to. And I tell people and I challenge people all the time, stop making like I'm trying to change your mind. I don't need your mind to be changed to stand in the truth. You need the truth, just like I need the truth. And if you don't want it, that's your business. You grown. I like getting wet, but not that wet. It's fine. Let me tell y'all something. Anytime somebody make life complicated, it's because they ain't embracing themselves. Y'all don't get along? Like ammonia and bleach shouldn't be utilized to clean at the same time, because it's known that there's a reaction. Gases are released when ammonia and bleach are put in the same area, in the same toilet bowl, in the same sink. Same thing about energy. Some of us are combustible. We fire signs. We air. Air cannot be trapped. So every time you try to trap a Libra or a Aquarius or a Gemini, you gonna be disheartening. It ain't got nothing to do with how they feel about you. You have no ability to trap air. When you try to contain a fire will burn your burn you up before they allow you to extinguish them. That's why fire sign Aries, Leos, and Sagittarius, they're not gonna allow you to put out a fire. They will rather destroy you. I don't care if you mama, daddy, brother, sister, or cousin. I don't care if you businessman, businesswoman. If you understand the elements, you understand your image, your likeness, what you were designed of, then you will have a better time. I always tell people, and I told Mother Susan in the morning, if I don't have a problem accepting people for who they are, but they have a problem accepting me for who I am. They're trying to make me be something other than what I am. Because I was telling her this morning, she's not gonna go to my stove and expect coal. Neither is she expecting my refrigerator to be hot. But in life, you want other people to adjust to what makes you comfortable, when they're really being authentically who they are. You're not expecting salt to be sweet. Neither you're expecting sugar to be salty. But in life, you're constantly trying to make somebody be something that they are truly not. And so therefore, energetically, you will pray, you will work for a goal that will never be achievable, instead of working with the energy that is actually sweet. Instead of working with the energy that is actually their hot spirits, petrol, and their cool spirits. Obatala will be considered a cool head. Shango will be considered a hot head. You can't go to Obatala when you and trying to make him be Shango. You can't go to Shango trying to make him be Obatala. But how many times in actual life you do that to people, places, and things? Wow. And you think they got the problem, when the truth is you got the problem. Because the reason why you can do it, because you have never accepted yourself. When a melanated man that's gay or bi or whatever, and you're constantly trying to justify your existence because how you choose to manifest your sexuality in this earth, you the one have the problem, not other people. Let me tell y'all something. I'm a freak and I know I am. And I love the way I get down. My point is, the moment you are out here trying to justify why you do and manifest like you do, like when I have to do my spiritual work, I don't care as long as I get my manifestation. I don't care if it took a crystal. I don't care if it took a candle. I don't care if it took plants. I don't care if it took trees. As long as I get my manifestation. The average person is not satisfied with truth. Even if they get the outcome that they claim they want, they still not satisfied. Because, well, you ain't had to do it like that. You ain't had to say it like that.
That's true.
That is immature on your part. You don't control what spirits manifest in the background for you, long as what they promise that it's achievable, right?
Right.
But you still mad. You got what you asked for, and you still mad about how it came. You sent, what's up there, Chris? My Sagittarius. You mad because you thought it should have came through UPS, but the parcel, Chris said, but the parcel came through the post office. How many times you sitting right now are mad because of what you got to go through to get what you want? That means you don't value it. Because should it really matter? If you're gonna work out in the gym and you want a certain look or a certain image, it shouldn't matter what you got to go through to get it. But if you don't want to really do the work, it matters. That makes sense? The only reason you mad because you feel like you work too hard to get what you wanted. And that's a mental thing. When you feel like you work too hard and what you went through was unfair, but you don't have a problem with the greatness or the accolades that you receive because of what you've been through. How many melody people say, "Oh, if you know what I've been through, you would understand." But they got a problem what they went through. Your family is the reason why you got better relationship with other people. Your family is the reason why you chose a better man or woman to be with. Your family taught you how to mind your own business. Your family taught you why it was not good to pick and choose, cherry pick. Because you went through so much with your family, you decided not to be like that, even though you are of the same bloodline. Instead of you thanking God for the things you've been through, I have more knowledge about my health and how to help people for the things I went through. I can be more of a healer than I was before I went through it. I can be more conscientious and teach people how to get their healing and their health, how they get it, their prosperity, no matter what the condition is. Because I done been through it. My melanin has the memory. That's why Sagittarius are more effective because of their experiences, because they get the nectar or the wisdom out of those experiences. Because when a Sagittarius, what's up there, Isaiah? When a Sagittarius through Jupiter, they have to have experiences, but they master those experiences. Those that are of us that are mature. Sagittarius carry the mindset, and this is what I mean by restoration of the image. You shouldn't feel because you're not. Hold on. Crap. Let me say, I'm gonna give you an indicator. You shouldn't feel a need when somebody is talking about Sagittarius to throw up by Virgo. That is something going on the inside. When somebody is talking and sharing their successes, for you to not compliment or support that means that there's something in you feel deficient. I had somebody tell me, "Oh, I ain't gonna never tell another woman she prettier than me." You don't have to tell her. She already knows she look better than you. Facts matter. I got on a muscle shirt and very few muscles. But if somebody with a body build wear the same shirt, this shirt gonna look very different. Now I don't look like I'm sick in this shirt. But I know what I got versus what I don't have. When you deal, we gotta be 2,000 years of Aquarius. And what that should mean to you and sir, facts is gonna matter. I don't care what you practice. I don't care where you at in life. In this energy of Aquarius, your individuality is going to matter. Your way you handle money, your ability to detach and still make your money, get mad but make your money, don't like them but make your money, would prefer different circumstances and situations but get your money. This is when you can understand observation and the power of observation. It's some of y'all looking right at the situation and cannot give us an educated guess about what's going on. How you looking at the same set of circumstances in life, and then air sign is about intelligence. Why are you praying about stuff when you could have simply made the right choices? Why you calling your ancestors when you could have simply adhered to the council? Do you understand? You so focused on what you don't like, you can't focus on also what you do like about the situation. The perception does not mean reality. And what I mean by that is, just because you're looking at a situation a certain type of way, if you at the valley low and you looking at the situation, you're gonna perceive it one way. That's what perception is. And we all got, that's why the scripture says every man seems right in his own eye. Then you take that same person and you take them to the mountaintop and look at that same situation and their perception. That's why people that are at the valley low feel like they can conquer situation. And that's why people at the mountaintop feel like they can conquer anything. If you get on top of a situation, I guarantee your perception about it is going to change. Your anxiety level will dissipate. Your fear level will dissipate. That's why in the scripture, it talks about when they were looking at the giants over there. Some people look at situations as this is unsurmountable. I can't do this. And there's other people like Joshua and Caleb. That's why you got to have certain people with mindsets. Restore their image. God gave us this land and we're going to be victorious. Those people ain't crazy. You crazy for not getting what God got for you. You can't call somebody crazy because they willing to meet this challenge. But when they brought them grapes back, when people bring back the benefits, them same people that told you crazy for doing that will sit there and enjoy the harvest. And don't get mad at them. Out of 12 disciples, only one decided to get out the boat. All I'm saying, if I'm going to be that disciple that get out the boat and walk the water, I don't want to hear about I sunk and had to reach for my Savior's hand. Because you didn't even get out to experience it. When they saw Peter do it, the same God told Peter to beckon him to come. Why didn't rest and say, well, Lord, I want to come too. They were sitting there waiting to see what happened to Peter. You got people, and they are nothing but observers. They ain't for participating in magic, conjure. All they're going to do is cast their opinion and judge. Not diagnose. Judge. And those are people you can grow around. Develop around. Because you want to tell me how I'm walking my faith in Ocha, Christianity. You don't want to talk about it's a miracle that I'm able to walk on water. Only thing you want to focus on, because you didn't do it, is that I sunk. When you got people that all the energy they had got for you is what they perceive you did wrong, that's a jealous person. So you don't want to talk about I walked on water like my Lord. I'm going to say it again. So you don't want to talk about I superseded most people in their reach of faith. So you don't want to talk about I got 4 or 5 cauldrons in Palo, and I'm actively working them. So you don't want to talk about I'm a melanated man. You want to overlook all of that. You talk about some of my mishaps and my missteps. That's an envious and jealous person. Because the story is not that he sunk. The story is he walked on water. The story is you, out of all the people in your family, you the one got the degree. That's the story. When people trying to change the narrative, it's because they want to focus and magnify an aspect to overlook or to make your accomplishment irrelevant. And I'm too much of a Sagittarian. My moon is in Aries and my rising sign Pisces to let anybody do that to me. I don't care if you birthed me in the world. I don't care if we've been raised since we children. That's when it. Rich rising, pretty bougie. Thank you so much for the heart. I want y'all to understand. It's not about my truth. It's that I came to a realization that facts matter. And so in order for me to succeed as a Sagittarian, I have to consider that. If I want to be successful, I have to consider the fact that we're in the age of. You can't be a magical practitioner and overlook the conditions by which you operate. The type of people you choose as clients. I want people that resonate. I want people that want something for themselves. That's why if you have not followed Chris, my Sagittarius from Philly, he is very, very good at creating organized energy. One of the things I'm going to be doing in a couple weeks repetitively is to push his content, because he very good at what he do. I always try to help my brothers and sisters, but most certainly those that invest and support me, because I have organized things at my house, but he has, and I'm gonna tell you another thing I would not do. I would not start promoting Organite when I have never promoted. I talk about it, but I don't design Organite jewelry. And he knows what he's doing. And I know he worked for UPS, so I know you'll get your stuff. Huh? But all this is important for the upbuilding, and I'm still being my individual. There's enough resources for everybody. But when people make you believe there's a scarcity, this is why you feel like you got to be in survival mode no matter what you doing. There's enough hoes for hoes. There's enough alcohol for those that like alcohol. As long as there are juices and berries, you can get you some alcohol. You get a mango right now and let it ferment. You got some. All right. I'm gonna get off here before I say something that triggers somebody, because I really want to go there. Follow me on my YouTube account, because that's where I can be the most real. I have to be constantly think. When you're a intelligent being, the last thing you want to do is take out time to think, what other synonym can I use not to be offensive? When you are a Sagittarius, you want to say what you got to say and go on about your business. But on here, the more truth you tell, the more people report your lives and all that. Hey, Miss Winter, I was looking at your video. She another Sagittarius. I look at her video. Delicious. Y'all better be glad that I ain't as whorish I used to be. Because I will convince you that you need to have me. I will persuade you that it. Oh, let me go. I love you all. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to be posting this live on my YouTube channel. Keep writing. Say I was washing my face and brushing my teeth. I know that's right. But I heard you cheat. Come on here now. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you all a little later on my YouTube channel. All right. God bless.